Hi, everybody, and welcome to Live from Tarkov. I'm Tarkov Reporter. We cover all the latest Tarkov news here, but today we're focusing on helping little Timmies adjust to Tarkov for the very first time. I've got a few Sherpas lined up to help us do just that, but today we're focusing on day one. What do you need to know your very first day of Tarkov with a friendly Sherpa named Vanarambaion? Go give him a follow on Twitch. That link is in the description below. And we are going to make this a series of podcasts with a number of different Sherpas, so if there's a specific topic that you want us to cover with a different Sherpa, please let me know. Okay, here's Vanarambaion talking about day one in your Tarkov life. Enjoy. All right, I'm here with Vanarambaion, who is an Escape From Tarkov Sherpa. Van, welcome. How are you? And how are you enjoying the early wipe so far?
Oh, I'm loving it. Early wipe is the best part of the wipe, in my opinion, so loving it.
Hell yeah, same here, man, same here. I love the early wipe. It's so much fun. Now, today, what I want to focus in on is day one of your Tarkov experience for the people who have just purchased this game, or maybe they're still in the process of thinking about purchasing this game. And in fact, let's start there. What do you tell people when they're thinking about getting this game and can't decide what version to get in the first place?
Well, I mean, unless they're absolutely sure that they're going to love this game and everything about it, and they're going to play it for a long time, I always suggest they start small. You can upgrade at any point, and they have sales often enough that it's easy enough and cost effective enough to be able to do that when you're ready to commit. But it is one of the more expensive games out there. So if you're not sure you're going to love it, then best to start small and grow into it, which is advice that I didn't take myself. So
I was given that advice and also did not take it either. Jumped right in. And here we are. Yeah, I don't know. I was an idiot about it, and I was pretty sure I was going to love this game from the jump anyways, but it's
I'm about the same.
Yeah. Okay, so you've got the game now. You've installed it successfully. You're loading in. You're prompted to pick a faction, Bear or USEC. Now, I remember as a first day pleb not having a clue what the difference between these two were. But what is your preference, Bear or USEC, and what do you tell people about the difference between the two factions?
Well, personally, it does not make a bit of difference. The only difference that it makes is whether your character is going to speak English or Russian.
Right.
And it being a Russian game, some people like the immersion of jumping with a Russian character. Great. Sure. Serving in the military, I am USEC for life, so it's an easy decision for me. But I'm not going to say it's the right decision for everyone.
Fair. Yeah. I having I'm a Canadian, so I have no dog in this fight. But I do enjoy the English voice lines. I think they're a lot of fun to play around with, especially things like "nice work, bitch," that kind of stuff. I really get a kick out of that stuff, especially when you have like friendly interactions with other people in the game, which may be increasing in the future. Who knows?
Yeah, looking that way.
Yeah. And also, I will say, though, I think bears have cooler clothes. That is the one drawback of choosing USEC. I like that. That black T-shirt that those bears wear. Oof, that's pretty nice.
That's true, but it used to be the flannel was the decider. The
right,
bears had flannel, and USEC didn't. But now that the difference there has narrowed significantly. That now that USEC have flannel.
So. Very true. All right, so they got that sorted out. They're at the main menu. Most people will take a look at their character to see all the goodies BSG gave them with their package. Now, what do you advise people to do with this initial gear set? I know people have different thoughts on how to handle it, whether you just sell it all off or if you use it while you can.
Well, if you're day one, you never played the game, I wouldn't advise selling any of it right away.
Mm-hmm.
Just grab whatever most people this is not their first FPS game. There's a few exceptions that I've played with where this is their first FPS game. But most people know, hey, I generally, use snipers, or I generally use, some kind of automatic or a pistol or whatever your specialty is in other games. Just start off with that, grab what you think you're going to be comfortable with. and use that for your first PMC raid, which should not be your first raid. So I strongly advise doing offline raids
Yeah.
and scav runs until you are comfortable with the mechanics of the game itself, and then worrying about getting into your first PMC raid. There's no need to jump in. You're just going to lose gear. And that's when you show up, in the Sherpa chain.
So true. Offline is huge. Offline is huge in scavs as well. Now walk me through some of those mechanics that you think people should try to focus on while they're doing offline and scav runs. What are the things that they need to learn before they can start risking their gear?
Oh God, there's so many.
Yeah.
Probably I would focus on the stuff that's going to kill you. So you want to start to learn some scav, when offline, especially, go look at what scavs do, how they walk, how they move, how they hold their weapons, what they do when they're standing still. That'll help you, or, the scav slide at the end of their runs. All of these things will help you identify a scav before you get into that fight. And that'll help your survivability. If you know you're fighting a player, it's a slightly different checklist of what you're going to be doing during that fight than if you're just fighting a scav. So going in, learning scav movements, also figure out how hydration and energy work. Because if you're in a raid for a significant portion of that raid, you're going to need food and water. So how much food and water do I bring? What types of food and water do I bring? All that stuff. They give you plenty of that stuff at the beginning. You can play with it in offline raids. You're not going to lose anything. You can reuse certain things. All that's critical to being able to survive that first raid. So stuff like that. And then learn what your objectives are. You're going into the map for what reason? Are you there for a task? Are you there for money? Are you there for PvP, down the line? Where are you going for those things? Find the loot spawns, I guess you can't really do this on offline, but, pay attention to where you're hearing shots when you're in an online raid as a scav. That'll help you determine where, especially in the early wipe, where players are going to be, because the paths don't change. It just gets quieter later in the wipe because people start using suppressors. So, all of these things will help you once you start, running your PMC for real. You'll know where the players are. You know what's going to kill you. You know what your objective is and where you have to extract, and where the different extracts are. Mm-hmm. All that stuff's going to be important. So it's a ton of stuff. Tarkov's a very complicated game. It's not like, oh, well, this, these one or two things you'll be an ace at the game. It's not that kind of game. It's really not.
If only.
The best part about it.
If only, Vin. Please teach me the one thing that will make me a good Tarkov player, please.
Well, if I had to go with one thing, I would say the best gear that you can take in is teammates. And I've always said that. That's one of my my mantras. This is not a solo game. It's not meant for solo play. You are at a disadvantage if you go in there solo. And watching, the high tier streamers of the world who go in and they wreck whole maps by themselves, that's great. But those are the 0.001% of the Tarkov world. So if you're trying to go in and you're trying to be the Pestily or the Dr. Lupo or the Robin or the, one of these wild PvP specialists, you're gonna lose a lot of gear trying to be that guy.
Yeah. No, I love watching them, but I think it's bad for my gameplay because I end up trying to do like they do, and it doesn't always work out for me.
Yep.
Now, you mentioned something earlier I want to go back to, and that was sometimes this is a player's first FPS game. And because this game draws from, I think, so many different areas and so many different types of games, you do get someone who has never played an FPS game before. What would you advise this person to do to improve at Tarkov, to get better at FPS games? Are there aim trainers? Are there other games that they should try on the side to help them? What would you do for someone who's having their first FPS game as Tarkov?
there are aim trainers.
Yeah.
And you can sort of pick your favorite version of that. I believe Aim Labs is the one that I've seen that actually allows you to fix your movement so that it's accurate to what your character is going to be. But the thing is about Tarkov is if you go in and you switch out your rig for a different rig, or your helmet, or you put something onto your weapon mid raid, it could change the whole way that your character moves and operates. So that's I think a large part of why meta exists, is because people want to have that consistency. They're going to go in with the same weapon, the same gear, the same everything, so that when they turn, they can snap. Like those are the guys that are able to snap to someone's head, and that's how they do it. Is it's muscle memory. They've been doing the same kit for so long, they know where they need to point to get that kill. So really, the best advice that I can give anybody who wants to get better at Tarkov is go play some Tarkov. It's crummy advice because everyone wants that. Oh, this is the golden ticket to, like I said, the one thing that you need to be able to do to be good at Tarkov doesn't exist. You just need to play the game and understand it, work out the bugs, of which there are there are often bugs.
No, really? No bugs.
In a beta game, I know it's a shock to everyone, but there are bugs in the beta game.
Man, how dare you?
I know. Blasphemy.
Yeah.
That's essentially what we're doing here, and a lot of people forget that and get salty about it, but this is a beta game. So you will run into bugs, and knowing what causes those bugs and avoiding that circumstance the second time or the third time is going to be key. So
definitely. One last sort of day one thing that I want to go into here is the traders. And as a first day Tarkov player, you might not have a clue who these traders are, or what they sell you, or how to buy anything from them. Is there any particular trader items or loadouts that you like to suggest to people, or that you run yourself in the early wipe?
Sort of. I have probably a different answer to this question than you anticipated.
Okay.
It's not about what you're going to get from the traders or the loadout or anything like that. Like, if you're playing carefully and running, I'm still going through starting gear. Level 17, I think.
Nice.
Or 18. I'm 18. Still going through starting gear, or what I've pulled off of scavs, or that sort of thing. Like, I haven't had to go and buy equipment, maybe a piece here or there, a helmet or a rig or something. But if you're burning through your equipment before level 5 or 10, you might need to look at what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, but what I suggest is, for the love of God, don't go to customs.
Okay? It's a madhouse.
It turns into a zoo. It is hysterical. There are two things that I love about early wipe. It's sort of sadistic. I understand that, but the two things that I love are going to woods and hearing those mines go off.
Yeah, that's fun.
Because some people wandered the wrong direction, or they're going up the wrong hill or something. And there's so many times I've been with a team and they're just like, oh, that's two. Where's the third one? He's going to die, so, we all know, we're all listening for it, but the new guys don't necessarily know where the minefields are, or they're looking at a map and it's not listed there. So, it's, going to woods and hearing the mines is hysterical, but also, and every single raid I've been on, night, day, all times of the day and night, it doesn't matter, is going to customs and listening to an all-out pistol fight around the construction area, because you need to get that pocket watch. It's those two things early wipe, and it goes on for like 2 weeks, and then nobody goes to construction anymore.
Yep. Never again.
They all have this like bad taste in their mouth, and nobody ever goes. It's like that's the dark land, Simba. We don't go that way. It's really funny, but every time, every map, I'm just like, oh, here we go. All right, there's an an M9, and there's another one, and oh god, there's 3 or 4 of them, and you go over there, and it's just like an absolute wasteland of bodies everywhere of just these pistolings that none of them made it out. The last 2 traded or something. It's just a mess.
There's always
don't
one.
Go to customs.
Yeah, there's always one too, just like hanging off the edge of the tanker truck with like the pocket watch in his hand, and you're just like, no, Timmy, no.
Exactly.
Oh, poor guy.
But if you need to go do something early wipe, go unlock Jaeger. Figure out where that is, run that task, and that it turns into a little bit of a bloodbath there too, but it's nothing like going to customs for that pocket watch.
Fair.
And everybody thinks you need to go there because that's where all the streamers go. Do something different, let that quiet down a little bit. Give it a couple of weeks, even, if you have to, but don't burn all of your gear trying to get that stupid pocket watch.
Yeah, it's not worth it. One thing I really wanted to do on the first 2 days was go to Shoreline, but the extracts were seemingly bugged, and that was unfortunate. I really wanted to go get some hideout materials on Shoreline, but that was my early wipe strat. But didn't work out for me. Oh well. What are you gonna do?
That's what I did last wipe, actually.
Yeah.
Is I ran my first 5 levels through Shoreline, just running across the back there, and I couldn't. I went there a couple of times this wipe, and got screwed by that extract bug.
Damn.
So
yeah.
I think they fixed it. Fingers crossed. But
yeah, I haven't heard any bad things out of it since. So hopefully people are able to get out of there, because that was not good.
No, definitely not.
Oh man! Now speaking of looting Shoreline, you are one of the few EFT Sherpas who focuses on surviving, pathing, crafting, looting, and tasking. And I want to know, what are the early wipe sort of items that you focus on looting, and where do you look for them?
So pretty much throughout the wipe, really, I don't focus on the big ticket items, the lead X's, the red key cards, the get rich quick, the sexy stuff. That's what all the full yeared 5-mans are going after. And I'm not opposed to fighting them if I have to, but there's no need to, quite frankly.
Right.
Because the spawn rates on those items are so low. The people who are getting rich off of that are spending a lot of money to do it and dying a fair amount, which I don't like doing. But also, you can make plenty of money on, looting the swamp, which nobody loots. Sure. Looting the village, which people are looting right now, but in 2 weeks is going to be a ghost town.
Yep.
If you want the quote unquote higher tier end, all you got to do from there is go right up to the cottages. Maybe you run into Sanitar. If you can kill them, perfect. Now you have all the loot you can handle there. And then there's 2 cottages that they're stacked with good loot. So there's no need to go after the high tier stuff. You can make plenty of money. You can do plenty of work, and you can get plenty of hideout stuff. Hideout stuff and task stuff is all through there.
Yep.
And then over at weather, at power, at pier, like outside of resort, that map is full of stuff, and it's not all on top of each other. So you spread out. You're not necessarily fighting people who are, if you hear shots at cottages, you probably have a few minutes to get through power before somebody's going to be on top of you. So you can sort of plan a more relaxed strategy. The other map that I like to go to is Interchange. That's much more compact, but the loot spots, it's just insane. Just going through the basement, which even now is empty. There's nobody down there, folks. Go loot it. There's so much stuff down there you can't carry it all out. So, and that's low tier and mid tier stuff. But at this point, everything sells for about the same amount. There's no flea market until level 20, so it's all going to traders anyway, or vendors. So you might as well grab what you can, fill your backpack, and get out and make some money.
Definitely. One other subject I want to focus on here is crafting. Are there specific early wipe crafts that you like to do either to, I mean, at this point you can't really make money is due to the flea market change, but early wipe crafts for using items or early wipe crafts maybe for find and raid quests that you like to do? What are the crafts that you like to tell people about early wipe?
So the one that I would recommend the most, and it's because I get Sherpa requests to find these, is the Soleil one.
Yeah.
Go get your med station up. It's nothing is blocking it. You can put it in right away. It's an instant build, and then you can start crafting Soleils. And it's all based on stuff that you either have access to from therapist or that you already have in your stash from your starting gear. So you can craft those 3 and be done with that task right away if you can find, I think it's a syringe and something else. I can't remember what the other piece is, but both relatively easy to find. It's not like crazy stuff. But that's the one thing that really makes your quality of life better when they added that craft. You can get that task out of the way early.
Totally. I do think you need a syringe and a pile of meds to start the med station up. Those are usually pretty easy to find.
Yep.
And yeah, once you get that going, you can produce hemostats and Saliwas. So you're looking pretty good on heals at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So I love
Absolutely.
the med station early wipe. Cool. Now, I did want to mention also the level 20 flea market change. What did you think about that change, both from your perspective and maybe perspective of a new player?
Well, I'd say there's probably going to be two different ways of looking at it there.
Mm-hmm.
Then, from my perspective, I am always in favor of making the game harder.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, as long as it's a reasonable thing. We're not talking about bending reality to do it. I'm in favor of most things that make the game harder. So this one made the game harder, but it also, I think it changed some things that people aren't paying attention to. Back in the dark ages when I started playing, there was no flea market. Mm-hmm. So your quote unquote flea market, and there was no find and raid either. So your flea market was your friends, and it required you to play with other people because more eyes looking for the same thing. You're gonna have a greater chance of running across that thing
for sure,
and also being able to carry everything out. So it sort of brought the emphasis back on group play in that respect. But it also, I think it's putting a different emphasis on what you put in your stash, especially for folks that aren't buying the EOD edition, that don't have the maxed out stash to start. You're forced to essentially sell items that you're not going to need immediately, even if you have a task item that's down the road. Am I going to be level 20 past that? Yeah, okay, I probably will. So I'll have access to those items, or I can craft that thing down the road or whatever. Like, I don't need that now, so I need to sell it, keep that space open.
For sure.
So I think moving that has had ripple effects that make the game more challenging in a good way. That there was a lot of chatter about how last wipe was, it seemed like there was no early wipe.
Yeah.
And I tend to agree with that because, not just getting, a bazillion 7.62 by 39 BP rounds.
900 rounds. 900.
Whatever it was. Oh my God. I remember opening that and just my heart sank. I was just like, oh God, I know exactly what this is going to do. I hate every part of this right now. But there was the early access to the flea market, at level 10, all you had to do was, that's a much less intense grind than
Mhm.
grinding to 20.
Yeah.
I think it's also going to, I'm not to level 20, as I said. Um, but I think it's going to change how the flea market is used because, you're not going to, the early task items are not going to be sold at a premium. I remember last wipe at the beginning, that pistol grip that you need for gunsmith level, part 1 on that shotgun was going for 150K, which is ludicrous, So
Yeah.
um, by the time you get to level 20, you really should be past that one. So I think that that's going to bring those prices down. Probably will push other prices up. I think there'll be, there'll be some market adjustment, of course, over the course of the wipe. But I think it's going to change the way the market is used, and I don't care whether they keep it or not. But um, I think it will. I think it'll be an interesting thing for them to test. And they spent a lot of time on the last wipe testing market forces, making shortages of fuel, making, this or that item, more or less from traders. So I think it'll be an interesting thing to watch as the wipe goes on.
For sure. Now, as you mentioned, you're level 17, so you've been through probably a few of the quests by now, and I wanted to ask you which of the quests you've maybe had a harder time with this wipe, or which you found were relatively easy this wipe, and have you come across any of the new ones yet?
I have. I haven't attempted any of the new ones because I think the one I'm thinking of, I need 2 keys on reserve that I don't have.
Yeah, those are
Haven't run
expensive
across
too.
those.
I think combined they're
Uh,
over 500K right now on the
Yeah,
Flea.
that does not surprise me in the least. I'm surprised they're not each 500K.
Yeah, as there's probably not
So
enough people who have Flea yet to
that's
buy them. Yeah,
that's probably it. And
yeah.
like I said, I think some of those keys are, some of those items are going to go up in price. Some going to come down. It's going to be some adjustment there. I think the gunsmith tasks are probably the ones that are going to be more difficult based on that
Right,
different flea market. Because
right.
I remember, I was like, I don't even care about gunsmith until I get to level 10, the
Hmm.
last wipe.
Yeah.
And now I got through. I was lucky enough to find all the stuff for gunsmith 1, but gunsmith 2 and 3, which I don't know why they both dropped together, but that's a different issue. Um, I I don't have any of those items, so
Yeah.
still working on that. So yeah, I think those are probably going to be the ones that, for me at least, that suffer the most in terms of pushing them to the right.
No doubt. Now we talked about the pocket watch quest. Are there others that you suggest? I mean, we talked also about the find Jaeger quest. Are there others that you suggest early wipe for people to try to get out of the way quickly?
It's probably the 2 on woods. The find Jaeger opens up Jaeger as a trader,
Mhm.
and that's huge because he has access to the shotguns that you need for a different task, the 133s,
Right.
for 2 different tasks actually. It's also the gunsmith one. But there's that one, and then there's the convoy. And the reason I recommend the convoy, especially in group play, is it gives you the compass.
Right. Yeah.
So then you can start talking about cardinal directions and all that sort of thing, and getting on the same page there. And I know the groups that I play with, we don't always refer to cardinal directions, but on woods where they're,
Yeah.
every call out is, hey, see that by the rock there, by the tree, like Jesus.
Yeah. That's tough.
You kind of need that, I'm looking, 240 in this direction. So, yeah, I would suggest those 2 probably give you the most bang for your buck early wipe and allow you to be more functional than without them.
I agree. I play in teams a lot, and I think the only place we use the compass is woods. It's for the reason that there are no good call outs for the map. Like most of the maps, you and your teammates can get together and make some good call outs up, or just go off of what other people have used for years and years. But it's on woods. You got, as you mentioned, the tree behind the rock, and there's maybe 4 points of interest that you can really get behind, and that's about it. It's really tricky. So the compass
And
is
there's
huge.
on woods, actually, it was funny. Last night I was running with a group, and we were coming across. We started on the outskirts side, so we were coming across that way. And as a four-man group, we were in two squads of two, essentially. And the other squad goes, "Hey, we're going to Loot Town," and I know what Loot Town is.
Yeah.
And we like myself and the other squad had the right idea, had the same idea for what Loot Town is. The guy that I was with like jetted off in some other direction. I was
Oh
like,
no.
okay, so he's going like, well, I'm gonna go with him. Obviously, I'm with him, but I wonder why we're going this way. And you get all the way to the village, where you can see straight down the road there to the car extract, and he's like, "Hey, where are you guys?" I said they're at Loot Town. He goes, "Yeah, we're at Loot Town." I said, No. This is the village. They're at Loot Town." So you almost need a compass to be like, no, they're at the one, down south. We're up here. It was really funny. So even even when you do have a call out,
Oh my
other
God.
times it's wrong because
Yep.
that map is ridiculous.
For sure. I was playing with a good friend of mine the other day, and all of a sudden he starts calling Loot Town Village, and I was having a fit because I was like, wait, isn't that? I was freaking out. Too many villages on that map, man. I don't know what to do.
Make your eyes cross sometimes.
Oh God. Now that's really all the questions I had for you today, Van. I do want to ask you before you go though, about being a Sherpa and how people contact you and if they're able to run Sherpa runs with you, how all that all works.
Well, there's a bunch of ways. So we have a Discord called Sherpa Hub, and I can get you the link for that. You can message me directly. I've gotten messages in game, people that needed help. I just saw my my green name in the lobby there or whatever. You can message me on Discord if we happen to be in the same Discords. It's easier. And then you can go on to and this is probably the best way. You can go on to the BSG website,
right?
And you just sign into your profile. Down on the right hand side there, it says something about newcomer assistance. You don't have to be a newcomer, but newcomer assistance Sherpas or something like that. You just click on that link, you fill out the form, and then essentially your request goes into a database. And then we go through that list every day. I don't go through it necessarily every day, but someone is, and they'll grab your request. And then if you go through the website, you get a set of gear, and it's not a great set, but at this point in the wipe, it's going to be pretty high tier.
Nice.
So you get a set of gear based on what you have chosen as your play style. I think it is
cool.
So if you pick like a bear sniper, then you're probably gonna get a Mosin. So, and then you get it's a full set though. So you get a helmet, you get an armored rig, ammo, all everything that you need to be able to run the raid with a Sherpa. You don't have to show up with that gear. It's just it's a nice, like, hey, you're having trouble enough that you sought out a Sherpa. We're going to give you a set of gear so you're not coming in as an unarmored Timmy. And then you get to keep it afterwards if you survive with it. You get to keep it regardless. It's your gear, so do with it what you want. We don't have that function through the Discord, or if you just contact me directly or whatever, but there is that option through the website. It's been around for ages and nobody ever seems to use it. So
cool.
Please, BSG is giving you free stuff. You're having trouble, go take their free stuff.
Absolutely. free stuff. I'll take free stuff. Can you Sherpa me? Oh man.
Gotta sign up.
All right. Well, Van, thanks so much for being here. I'll make sure all of your info is linked below, but let them know where they can find you on Twitch too before you go.
Okay. So I stream Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday nights, 10 p.m. to about 4 a.m. Eastern. And I'm on twitch.tv/Vanarambaion.
Cool. All right. Van, thanks again for your time, and we'll see you next time.
Great. Thank you for having me.
Thanks to Vanarambaion for being our Sherpa today. Go give him a follow. His link's in the description below. And thanks to all of you for hanging out on the podcast today. If you're watching on YouTube, let me know in the comments below what you're enjoying most about patch 12.11, maybe what you're not enjoying. Also, what do you think about the new gameplay features like scav karma and weapon malfunctions? Maybe it's those two things. If you're listening on Spotify, let me know on Twitter at Tarkov Reporter. Of course, you can find me on Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, pretty much wherever you can find Tarkov content. And we have a brand new website, tarkovnews.com. Bookmark that. Would love to see you join the Discord as well. Come hang out and play some games with us. All those links are in the description below. But that's going to do it. This edition of Live from Tarkov. Go divide them cheeks. We'll see y'all next time.